Someone brought to my attention yesterday that I had not talked about Brad's death on YouTube. I didn't tell what happened. I know I had said I was going to do a live stream, but that's not going to happen. There'll be way too much dead air if I start talking about it, and I can't stop crying with a video. I can turn it off and start over, but live stream, I'm not going to be able to do that. I tried to go back and watch some of the videos I made a day or so after Brad passed away, but I couldn't watch them. I'm sure y'all could understand that. It's hard to relive the worst day of your life. I do relive it every day, but that was at my worst. Those few days, I don't remember what I said about anything, and I just can't go back and watch them. But I was angry at first that people wanted to know what happened, because it was an awful, horrible day because of how it ended. And I can't imagine anybody wanted to know, but y'all knew Brad, for some of y'all, for a very long time, and you deserve to know what happened that day. I mean, nothing like happened. I mean, there really wasn't a happening. He passed away. It was just that he just passed away. That morning, I say it was a normal morning, but it really wasn't, because he got up and helped me clean out the freezer, which he absolutely hated to do. Both of us hated to do that, but I had to do that. I had to clean out the freezer. So he helped me, and that was unusual. So our plan was, for the day, I had placed orders at Walmart, pickup orders at Walmart and Sam's, and we were going to Sam's to renew our membership so we could start getting our meds over at Sam's. And I don't know if it was my idea or his idea to go to the Harley dealer, but I did want a pair of fingerless gloves so I could work my phone without having to take my gloves off when I was on the motorcycle, and I'd never bought a pair of Harley gloves before. And so we went to the Harley dealer, and he even did a little video in the Harley dealer. I never uploaded it, talking about the helmets. And he bought a Harley helmet, which was the first Harley helmet he ever bought. So we were gonna go eat at a chicken buffet. He was excited about that, because we usually don't eat out, and we surely don't go eat a chicken buffet. So we were gonna do that, but when we got to Sam's, my order was ready at Walmart. So I asked him, could he settle for hot dogs at Sam's, which that was his absolute favorite. And I do like their pizza. Well, he went in and got 2 hot dogs and something to drink, and he got me a slice of pizza. And I went in and did the membership, and I wasn't going to buy water that day, but they had been out of stock. So when I seen that they had water, I went back there and got cases of water. And I came back to the truck, and he had ate his hot dogs. And I really didn't feel like eating pizza, and I didn't want to tell him that I didn't want it, and I told him I just didn't feel like eating it. And so he ate my piece of pizza, which he loves pizza. Well, anyway, we went to Walmart and got our order, and the day was really good. We talked a lot about a lot of stuff that we hadn't talked about in a very long time. And the beginning of that day, gosh, I'm already 6 minutes into this. This is terrible. Nobody's gonna watch all this. I told him that when we were getting on the interstate to go to town, I told him, and I have no idea why I would say this to him, and I regret it, but I said to him, if you should drop dead today, you have been enough. I could go the rest of my life and not talk to anybody. I could be by myself the rest of my life, because it's just been enough. It's been enough. And of course he didn't say anything. I mean, what do you say to that? And I don't even know why I would say such a thing to him, and plus use the words, if you drop dead. I mean, nobody thinks they're gonna, when you say that they're gonna drop dead. But we talked a lot that day. I would say more than normal. And it was about things that I can't believe we talked about. Maybe it was the way it was just supposed to be. I remember him saying we both agreed that things just work out the way they're supposed to. And worrying and fretting about it doesn't do any good at all. I remember him saying that things just always worked out. And anyway, so y'all saw the video that he did on the way home, and that video was done maybe 20 minutes before he died. We came home, and normally I unload the truck. I bring in the water, and he puts everything away. And we did it that way because when he picked up those cases of water, it would really mess his back up. So normally I brought the water in. Well, for some reason, I have no idea why, we did it just the opposite. I put stuff away, and he brought everything in. And I was still putting stuff away, and he went to the bathroom, and I walked past the bathroom, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said something very odd. It's not odd that it was just odd that he said that to me, because I've never heard him say this to me. He said, "I'm resting." And I did think, well, that's really odd. why would you say that? That you were resting in the bathroom. And I continued putting stuff away. And then he went into his room where I'm at now, which, by the way, is the first time I've been in here in a very, very long time. And the dogs, too. Breezy's actually trying to get in my lap. He came in here, and I walked past the door, and he had his helmet sitting on the table here, looking at his helmet. And I started singing a really stupid song. I started singing Country Joe and the Fish. I'm sure you old people, you old geezers my age and older, you remember. It was the Vietnam song. I think the first time he sang that, I think, was at Woodstock. I'm not, don't hold me to that, but I kind of think that's just what I remember anyway. But I was singing that song, and when I got to the chorus, he didn't sing with me, which if I sang stupid stuff like that, he would he would make a comment for or against. He didn't say anything. So I got through the course, and I said, I got down to the last part where it said, open up the pearly gates, whoopee, we're all gonna die. And I said, which I had already said a couple times, why aren't you singing? Are you ignoring me? Why aren't you answering me? And then I finished the song and walked into the door of his room and saw him face down on his desk, and his helmet was pushed out of the way, and I thought I was going to die. All the blood ran out of my legs. All I could do was start yelling, God, no, please don't take him today. I knew, and I pushed him back into his chair, and that was all I could do, was yell at God for him not to take him. I ran, got the phone. See, this is why I'm not doing a live stream, because there would be too much dead air. I went and got his phone and called 911 and laid the phone down, and I used every ounce of strength that I had to try to do chest compressions as good as you possibly could on somebody who is leaned back in a chair, and there was no way I was going to get him on the floor. If I had tried, he would have went forward, and that would have just absolutely caused me to have a heart attack. I it was all I could do to talk to that man on 911, and he kept asking me questions that I didn't want to answer. Was he breathing? No. Does he have a pulse? No. And I just, with all my weight and strength, just kept doing chest compressions. And all I could do was scream, God, no, please, no. Don't take him today. And between the timestamp of the 911 call and the timestamp on my porch camera from when the ambulance pulled up was 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And they were here. And it was two young guys that wasn't big as a minute, and it was all they could do to get him out of the chair and get him on the floor and start. They had one of those machines that does the chest compressions. They kept running back and forth from the room to the ambulance to get stuff, and I don't even want to get into that, because I was thinking, you already knew it was possibly a heart attack. Why are you coming in here empty-handed? I still had 911 on the phone, and they were talking, and they had Marshall en route. What came here was, first was our local, and I know they're all volunteer and they don't probably see this every day, but when you're watching your husband die, and it's devastating. Well, Marshall got here, and them guys went to work on him, and in my mind, they asked me, when was the last time I seen him normal? And that really, I'm thinking, normal? What do you mean normal? He's normal right now. What are you talking about? Normal? He's not abnormal. He's just not breathing. And do something. And I was not dealing or handling it very, very well. Anyway, the cops show up, the police, the chief of police, and one of his officers came and kept escorting me out of the house, because I didn't come in the room. I just wanted to be in here with him. I didn't get anywhere near them, and they kept making me go outside. They was treating me like, I felt like they thought it was like a drug overdose or something, or it was like a crime scene. I was just devastated at the way everybody was behaving, plus the fact that, you know, your husband is laying on the floor and you're starting to realize that this is not going to end the way you want it to. Well, they finally get him on a table and take him outside, load him up in the ambulance, and nobody's in a hurry. And I mean, I knew, in my mind, it had only been 10 minutes from start to finish, but when they actually left with him, it had been a solid hour from the time that I realized that he wasn't talking to me till they left with him. It had been 1 hour. And then it really got bad after that. They wouldn't let me ride with him, said it was protocol that no one rides. I just wanted to tell him bye. I just wanted to tell him bye. And they wouldn't let me see him, nothing. And I came back inside because I still had my carry on, and they were going to go to LSU trauma. LSU is our trauma hospital in our area, not Willis-Knighton. And I realized I still had my carry, and they have metal detectors and for reasons, and I had to come back in the house to bring my carry back in. And they were taking pictures of his room and everything, and I got really angry because, well, I guess because he died. He had a heart attack. And they were treating him like it was a drug overdose or maybe a crime scene. I don't know. But I was really struggling trying to keep it together. Beverly she drove us over to the ER, and when I got there, they had already took him in, and one of the guys was cleaning out the back of the ambulance, and I said to him, "Are you gonna let me go in there?" And he screamed at me, "No, I am not." He treated me like I didn't want to be treated, and I had those thoughts of yanking him off the back of that ambulance and teaching him how to talk to an old woman that just lost her husband. And a younger me would had, but the old me didn't. And I finally got into admitting and knew by her behavior that I knew Brad had passed away. For sure. A couple of the guys before I left said that they had gotten a faint heartbeat. So I was holding on to that. Well, when they put me and Beverly in a room away from everything and everybody, I already knew. I knew that the trauma doctors would show up soon and give me those horrible words. And they did. He said it's a poor choice of words, but he had a widowmaker. And there probably never was a heartbeat. I asked him, and he said, now whether he just wanted me to whether he wanted to bless me with these thoughts, I don't know. I have since went and read, but he said it's just like turning out a light. He said he went quickly. Okay, why is my computer froze up? He went quickly, quietly, and with no pain. And I believe him. And the look on Brad's face when I pushed him back to see if he was breathing, he looked like he was fixing to say, I'm only playing. I'm just kidding. He looked at peace, and I believe the doctors, he looked like the Lord came for him and he went home. That's what he looked like. Well, then, that's when my nightmare started, as far as I'm concerned. I asked those doctors if I could tell him bye, if I could see him, and they said no. And it was their policy, protocol, whatever. I told them they needed to change that because I wanted to tell my husband bye, and they didn't have the right to keep me from seeing him, and I still don't understand why. They did tell me that it was going to be kicked over to I can't even think the name of it, an autopsy, and it wouldn't go to the coroner, that it would be an autopsy. And I really didn't care one way or the other. I didn't care that they wanted to do an autopsy. I just wanted to tell him bye. I just wanted to see him. And I think they thought I was trying to have him moved, or I wanted something different, and I didn't. I just wanted to tell him bye. And they told me they didn't know where he would go. Since he lived in Harrison County, Texas, they didn't know if he would stay in Shreveport for the autopsy or he would be sent to Longview, Tyler. They did not know. And that really lit a fire under me. What do you mean you don't know? Of course you know. He's in your emergency room. And I just want to see him. You can decide what you need to do after I see him. Well, it wasn't happening. I went home and I cried. And then the next morning, I went to see the chief of police. And I told him what had took place. He was very nice. He was very kind. And he said, hang on, let me make a call. And he did. He called a judge, the judge, don't know. And the next thing I know, he was going to be turned over to the coroner. And I have not gone back up there and thanked the chief of police. I will, but I'm still a little angry about how it all went down. A couple of the guys, I guess they realized they had lost one of their walkie-talkies or whatever their communication is called, and when the police left, they locked my house for me. They said they would, and they did, and I have a camera. So I know what took place after I left, and I was not pleased with the behavior of those young men. There was a lot of yelling and cussing and carrying on in my yard, and one of them actually tried to look for a key underneath the rug and on top of the door frame because he wanted to get back in my house. I'm going to go ahead and assume that it was to find his communication device, but who knows? So I thought it was probably better that I did not go back up there and talk to the police chief till I am not angry about how they behaved from start to finish, by the way. And I do have all of it on video. I went back and captured those video that my camera took of us, them, me, everything. I have the timestamp from the last time that Brad walked into the house. From the time he walked in until they carried him out. And y'all pretty much know the rest of the story. I LSU almost released him to another funeral home, one I never heard of. I don't even know how they could make that big of a mistake, but they almost did. But after a few phone calls, he was finally released to Boone Funeral Home, and they were so good and so kind to me. And they picked Brad up, and they called me and told me I could come over the next morning. And this was the second day after he passed, and could tell him bye before the cremation. And I did. I went, and I got to kiss him on the head one last time. And when people talk about their loved ones when they die, I've heard lots of people through my life, and I've seen and had friends and people die in my life. They always look so young. And Brad, if I didn't know that was Brad, I wouldn't have. He looked like a 30-something-year-old Brad. He was peaceful. He looked like the guy I married 30-something years ago. And all I could do was get on my knees and thank God that he had gave me Brad, that he had gave me the best friend I ever had. And he truly had blessed me with a good husband. And that was all I could do. I couldn't even talk to Brad. All I could do was thank God that he took him home the way that he did, peacefully, quickly, quiet, no pain. And I was truly blessed. Okay, that's it, guys. That's what happened. And even though it was the worst day of my life, and probably will be the worst day of my life, I am so thankful that he died sitting at this desk looking at his motorcycle helmet after a wonderful day And I'm so grateful I got to be with him up to the minute that he stopped breathing. And I still am. He could have had that heart attack on his bike in front of me or behind me. He could have had that heart attack going down the road that day on the interstate and could have killed innocent people. But God does it best. And I'm so thankful that God took him when he did and how he did. And that's it. Now y'all know the rest of the story. Wasn't much to tell other than he died sitting right here. And for all those that have made it through this 41 minutes of me talking about my best friend, thank you. Thank you for everything that y'all have done, your prayers and your comments. You know, death, I used to say death brings the worst out in people. I still say that, but I say now that it also brings the best out in some people. There has been people that knew Brad for a very long time. They took his money when Brad offered help financially, and he helped them physically. And I have not heard a word from some of those people. Not even a text. And there's people that I've never met has been very supportive to me and has helped me financially. And they don't know me from Boo, but his death has brought a lot of good to me. Through people that I've never met. I want to thank those people, and also there's been a few people that have left comments and has reached out to me that I know y'all probably weren't talking much to Brad, but it takes a really big, good man to step over that and reach out to me. And y'all know who you are. And it was very kind, and you're a good person for that. I'm pretty sure you earned a crown to lay at Jesus' feet. And it really is odd. The people that I thought would reach out to me hasn't. And people that I know nothing about have really, really helped me through this. And I really want to thank all of y'all for your support and your prayers and everything that y'all have done for me. Because you've done it for me through Brad. I know that he was a lot of things to a lot of people. And I really wasn't gonna make this video, but everybody needs to know what happened to their friend. So guys, thanks for watching, for all those that have hung in here. Love you, bye.